So good morning, Joya. Today we're recording morning time.
Yes, good morning, Ella. How are
Um,
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I think the sun is really helping me feel nourished. Um,
Uh,
yeah, we've had a few lovely days of sunshine, so that's really helping me. How about you?
I'm loving the sun too.
I think we all need to recognize how important it is, like to just get out there as soon as the blue sky is showing.
Yes, I think in Galicia, we have learned to appreciate just getting outside. When the sun is out, get out.
Yeah,
Sun's out, bun's out.
that's right. So how's your week
Yeah.
been?
So like I'm finding a pattern. Usually Monday is just like, and then Friday
Take
is spot on. But I think it could just be, the way the week progresses and how I organize my days and I don't know. But yeah. So do you want me to start?
Yeah, I'm just wondering
Okay.
what is going through your mind on a Monday morning? Is it a habitual thought, or is that something that
Well,
could change?
this will probably paint the perfect picture. Monday starts, like blah. So I'm like, let me just pull an angel card. And the card that I pull is patience, like the timing is not right. And I'm like, no,
I'm
I
impatient.
want the
I
timing
don't
to
want
be
this card.
now. So yeah, that's my Monday feeling. And so what did I do? I said to the angel cards, how can I make the timing right? Like what do I need to do to make the timing right? And I pulled another card and I got play. So I was like, okay, yeah. And that started to change the vibe immediately. So what felt like play to me? Practicing inside flow for our upcoming retreat.
Yes.
Um, that felt really good. Also, some of those delusional practices like living in the end, you know, imagining my day being the way I would love for it to be. So just kind of living in the imagination and yeah, make believe. And then I also thought of, well, play the game of life, our favorite book. What was the funny title that was posted on Instagram? Like the parents
Oh, I
of
can't
terrible
remember,
kittens or
but yeah,
something?
it was really bad subtitling, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I pulled that book out again and I actually listened to the audio version because I thought, you know what? Yeah, life is a game. I need to play it. So yeah, when when I started to feel impatient, I would cast the burden of my impatience to the divinity within. And sometimes I would feel like an immediate relief. And sometimes I would need to repeat it again and again and again. But like eventually, I'd either feel light or peace. Um, and then I would also, from that book, claim that which is mine by divine right. So, like if I felt anxious or that kind of longing impatience, I would just say, I claim that what is mine, that which is mine by divine right. It is done. Like it's coming. It's mine. I have it. And that also felt good. Sometimes immediately, sometimes I would have to repeat it more than once. Um, yeah, so that's how I made it towards Friday. And then Friday has a whole nother story, but like, what about you?
Well, this is just freaky confirmation because people don't we are
Yeah,
very good friends, but really
yeah,
since doing this podcast we've kind of not chatted on the daily like we
yeah.
used to. But as you know, that is my favorite book, and I was gifted it by my mum years ago, and I've been
Uh-huh.
sitting in practice, and all that kept coming up was use the book. And so
Really?
I'm developing, I'm not going to say I've
Yeah.
developed, I am developing a whole course unit on the book that will
Hmm.
be in my Substack, which is going to be
Nice.
a book club. So, years ago we started a book club. I started a book club to make friends in
Mm-hmm.
Santiago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeling called to continue to build communities. And someone else who's an expander of mine has transferred all of their website content to Substack. And it really inspired me to see Substack in a different way
Mm-hmm.
rather than just writing. And so this whole process this week has been about how am I developing my Kabbalah beliefs, like how am I a student in
Yeah.
Kabbalah and how does it relate to my favorite book, The Game of Life, the first
Mm-hmm.
book for the book club that will be on Substack.
Amazing.
So it's just so funny that you come with that as the tool to help you throughout the weeks. Well, this week,
This week for sure. Yeah, and it's been very helpful.
everything in that book, even though it's written in, I think it's 1925,
Mm-hmm.
is so prevalent today. Like it's the same words that get used. It's all the law of attraction. It's all about manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels really nice to go back in time and use the basis of it as a way of growing
Mm-hmm.
in whatever way you want to grow in your life.
So
Manifestation.
for me, it's brought that certainty that the Kabbalah is asking for, like the certainty that we need to
Yes.
have faith and trust. And so those little affirmations or claiming that which is mine by divine right creates that certainty.
Yeah. And the stories that she says and the work, like she gives so many references to people and how to apply it. And so it's
Yeah,
called The Game of Life and How to Play it. So I'm really looking forward to. I'm building up this whole project that I will be asking people to join in Substack, and we're going to just go through it together, chapter by chapter, and a little bit like
excellent.
this podcast, like a weekly evolvement and community
Mm-hmm.
sharing.
Yeah, that book is great. I could go through it again and again and again.
Well, I also think that patience is needed in that book because you really do need to hone each piece of wisdom, practice
Mm-hmm.
each piece of wisdom over a process of time so you can actually see how that wisdom plays out if you apply
Yeah.
it and just sitting with
So
certainty beyond
that kind of
logic.
leads into my Friday story.
Well,
Um,
mine too. Like I've really sat into certainty beyond logic with timings coming up and things needing to be done and just trusting and certainty beyond logic and the divine right of timing as well doesn't mean you are putting your head in the sand. It doesn't mean that you are ignoring what needs to be looked at, which are ways that we've been led to believe, like sometimes you need to sort things out on someone else's timeline. Sometimes just
or be realistic and get, people say
realistic.
be
Yeah.
realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really, it's about sitting in what feels true for who you are and
Mm-hmm.
knowing the outcome is there. You can't see it yet, but just sit in the patience of knowing and it
Yeah.
will be
So
revealed. So tell me about
did
Friday.
something happen to you on Friday?
Let me think.
Well, let me tell my story
Yeah,
then.
tell your story.
Okay. So do you remember like 3 or 4 weeks ago? I was like, well, you had your story of ease and flow, and I tried it out with the toilet seat. Do you remember?
I remember the toilet seat. Yeah.
And then it gave me, I guess, the courage again to ask for ease and flow in big issues. And do you remember I asked for like 3 big
Yes. Yeah.
issues to play out with ease and flow?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this week I did have to take action in one of those issues. And I've opened the door and I got the ball rolling, and that just feels good. And then on Friday, I was taking action again towards another one. 2 weeks ago, I had started. I went to 2 places, got some information I needed. It was all good. This Friday, I had my list of 3 places I was going to. I went to 2 of them, and the third place I couldn't find. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go home. And then on my way home, I start seeing red feathers everywhere. Like, okay,
Wow.
that's not so weird because
No,
it's carnival,
carnival.
right?
Yeah.
But still, like I was noticing it. And at one point I look down and I see that red feather and I look to the right and I see another place I could go to. I was like, okay, I'll just go. I go in and I see someone I know. And I'm like, all right, this is already starting to feel easy and I'm in the flow. And we start talking about this issue. And this is the 5th place I've been to. We notice that all along, I have been, we've been skipping an important detail. So it's way easier than I thought. Like, hello, like it's been this way all along, but nobody noticed it until now. So that
Wow.
felt so good. Um, and then I started walking home, and then later in the afternoon, I had a call about the 3rd issue. And they have a service that will solve it for me. And if I do it before a certain date, I qualify for a rebate that basically pays for the service. Ease and flow. Like, I just felt like Friday was amazing like that. And later on, I went out and I was like thinking, what were the red feathers? Like, that was special. And I look in front of me and a guy is carrying red feather angel wings. I was like, yes, I
You're being
love it. Like, you can't
supported.
make it up.
No, you can't. And
Yeah.
it's all about trusting that you are being
Yes.
supported and guided. You just need to be
Yes.
aware and open enough to see it and receive it.
Yes. So then Saturday rolls along and I decide to, what's it called? Like dig your ditches, like start preparing for
Yeah.
more things. And so
Yeah.
I thought, how can I dig my ditches and prepare for what I want? And whatever, I decided I will clean out my jacuzzi. And I discover that it's like ruined.
Oh
I
no.
don't know what happened. It's all scratched up. So I have a new opportunity to ask for ease and flow. Like, please solve this
Course.
issue.
What a pleasure.
Yes. And then I decided the next thing I needed to do was fix the water damage on my stairwell again, on my staircase, paint that, and it was not working. It was all crumbling. And so another opportunity as well to ask for ease and flow. I'm putting them both out there and we'll see how they play out.
Well, that's funny because Friday now you gave me time to
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I had an important conversation on Friday that felt like it was going to either be the solution to something I'm calling in, or it was going to be the pause. What a pleasure. How are other answers going to come through to help me call this thing in?
Right. Right.
And in that conversation, there was a delay of something. So I'm thinking that there's a deadline happening soon. And what I need to get to that deadline wasn't going to be matched in time. So
Okay.
I really sat with scarcity and lack
Mm-hmm.
and how I was feeling, if that is the truth for what I'm feeling in the moment, like it would have been in the past. And it really
Yeah.
didn't come up. What came up was trust and faith. And this not
Mm.
being the direct route doesn't mean to say it's not going to happen. There is another
Right.
way, therefore.
Right. I like
But
that.
I was getting confirmation of how I have grown because of that conversation. So
Mm-hmm.
I needed the conversation for me to be able to feel into old habits and see if the beliefs were still there to allow me to then say
Yeah.
to myself, oh, I actually do have trust and faith that this is
Good.
not the way, but
Mm-hmm.
the way will be revealed. I still yet
Mm-hmm.
don't know. But as a result of that conversation, I had to have another conversation with someone who it affects. Let's just say my husband. And old
For example.
and beliefs were coming up in my mind as to how that conversation was going to roll as a result of this new
Mm-hmm.
news, let's
Yeah.
say. And I just decided, no, tonight before bed, this was Friday, is not the time. I'm getting in my sauna blanket. I am getting hugged. I am going to wrap myself in
Oh.
warmth and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go into worst case scenario DI, which is
Okay.
taking
Not
yourself,
happening. Like you don't get what you're
yeah,
asking for.
taking
Yeah.
yourself to the worst situation, the outcome.
Yeah.
And I came out of it. They guide you through it so beautifully that you always feel safe anyway, because you are being supported and protected by your higher self or your spirit guides, whoever you
Mm-hmm.
choose to call in. And so I decided, no, and this is joy. I am releasing the burden of
Mm-hmm.
carrying this needing to fix everything or the one to make everything right, which is
Yeah.
an old belief of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next morning I got up, felt confident. Saturday was, yeah, new plans. We were not going where we usually go on a Saturday and decided, okay, so this is the facts. These are the facts. I had the conversation very factually. These are the situation. This is the current outcome that might happen. And it was received so open heartedly with an alternative plan that I was never going to be able to visualize or predict. And so,
Wow.
because I sat in the conversation in a peaceful and calm way, without
Mm-hmm.
needing to take ownership of the outcome,
Yeah. You
it
were open
felt
to it.
I was I was open, or I offered up the need to be the one that provides or makes things work. And
Mm-hmm.
there are alternative ways of doing things
Yeah.
that allow for the flow. So we've been
Cool. I
very
love
much
that.
in a similar circle this week, not even a circle, just a wave of
And it
allowing.
is feeling like a wave to me, like up and down, like exhilaration, or maybe like that staircase that you were describing, like
Yeah,
here it's happening, now it's not. It's happening, now it's not. But
because we're all searching for the recognition in ourselves that we have the power to create. And if that always happens instantaneously, we no longer feel that power. We almost have to sit in a space of questioning or doubt to pull back on that power and use it again.
yeah. And I think sometimes, like, doesn't the Kabbalah say so that you don't become overconfident? Or maybe it's the game of life
No, it
that
is that
it's,
too. The Kabbalah does say that you need
yeah,
to be able to not lean on your ego. You need to be able to lean on the creator. You're
exactly.
working together. It's
Yeah. I think the
co-creative.
game of
You're working with the
life
divine.
says that too.
Yeah. So you're
Hmm.
calling in on the divine, and then you have to trust in that
That's
divine.
why Friday, like, was the confirmation, but then Saturday was like, here you go again. Ask me for help again.
Well, yeah, you're always up
Yeah.
leveling. And so
Yeah.
actually, it's that comfort of knowing I'm not in this alone. And
Yeah.
support looks like physical people, but it also looks invisible. The
Hmm.
universe doesn't always present itself in a physical form
Yeah.
to begin with. You need to believe it to see it.
Yeah.
So
And I guess that's the hard part, believing with certainty.
that's,
Or
yeah,
the
that
easy
is the
part,
hard part.
if we use our words with
Yeah, that is the hard part for
intention, that
you.
is the easy part.
That's not the hard part for me. That's not my story.
Yeah.
And to add to that, as you
Hmm.
know, um,
Hmm.
I've been really excited to start my interviews up again for the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
And so I've developed and I'm interviewing vision holder hangouts. So,
Oh.
Mindfully Thrive, we're going to be having vision holders, those people that hold the space for the vision that we choose to create. So, in the
Ooh.
2B magnetic world, they're known as expanders. So,
Okay.
I am interviewing my expanders who I see as people holding the vision of my future or my goals or my dreams
Mm-hmm.
And having that conversation with those people allows me to see, to believe what is possible.
Yeah, it deepens your certainty.
Yeah, there you go. And
Mm-hmm.
so people need to look out for those new episodes that are going to be coming
Yeah,
soon too. And there's a lot more other ideas I've got brewing that are going to come into being. So
exciting. I love that.
happening, lots happening.
Yeah.
And so we're both going into this week with a little bit more excitement, maybe a little bit more trust and
Yes,
knowing.
definitely.
I've also been
Yes.
saying, waking up and saying, I am excited about the unexpected. I'm excited
Yes.
about the unknown. And so I lean into that trust, because not having trust, not having faith is having fear and needing to control. And so let's choose to lean into the faith and
Mm-hmm.
have some
Yeah.
excitement around feeling.
And I'm also not just using the wouldn't it be wonderful if scenarios for like the issues that pop up, but also in the morning, like you say, like what would I love to happen today? And
Yeah.
just calling in something exciting, like something unexpected like that.
And even if there's nothing you're calling in, just allow me to see the joy in the day. Allow me to see
Mm,
fun
I
and
like that. Yeah.
magic.
Appreciate.
Yeah. And that
Mhm.
automatically changes the way you view your Mondays and the way we lean into the week.
Yes, yes. And like, no, I was able to shift that pretty quickly by adding play to the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And I appreciate all of that play and how it played out.
Yeah.
But are you doing gratitude or appreciation like daily
I've been doing some morning pages
practices?
actually,
Like, right?
writing. So just
Uh-huh.
allowing intuition, and then
Uh-huh.
that evolves into gratitude. It kind of is just a flow of 3 morning pages writing, the Julia Cameron, the artist's way.
Okay. That flows into gratitude or appreciation, but
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily just,
For
it's
me,
not, you're not sitting down to appreciate or to be
no,
grateful.
no, I end up, but what I notice ends up happening is that I'm creating this spark of fire of energy that I want to
Mm-hmm.
get going and start applying the action that is
Mm-hmm.
coming out of my mind about the things I could be doing. So
Yeah.
it's been very like fire starter energy. I don't know if that's the
So
time.
you're pumped after your morning
Yeah,
pages. You're
definitely.
ready to,
Yeah.
yeah. So sometimes I feel that way. Like sometimes I get that pumped feeling and like I'm super excited. And then other times I feel like I'm leaning in to that letting go feeling again. And it's not as pumped. It's more just like, okay, bring me whatever.
Well, then when I feel like that burst of energy peaks, I have to walk
Hmm.
away. And I walk
Yeah.
away with just again, so trust that
Yeah.
I don't need to be all full steam ahead. It was just the
Yeah.
energy of the moment that ignited the ideas to
Yeah.
roll things out.
Hmm.
And then I'm okay leaving things and coming back to them later. Feeling good
Yeah.
with the ideas on is enough.
Hmm.
And I just am called to say, because it inspired me so much, and I was going to call you, I listened to a snippet of a podcast, and when they were referring to letting go, and
Hmm.
it wasn't so much for her about letting go in a mindset way. She actually needed to release old letters, things that she was holding on to, memories of the past, for fear of that memory never coming back again. And so, really
Hmm.
digging into the aspects of love,
Like deleting photos and stuff.
things that she kept. This for this story, she was specifically looking to bring in a partner, but she was holding on to love letters and from previous relationships for fear that she would never get that feeling again. And it took her a while
Mm.
to get to the conclusion that those physical papers that she had in her house,
We're weighing her down.
yeah, they needed to be released. And within a couple of weeks, she
So
called
like
me
burn
back.
them. Okay.
So look at
Yeah.
that as a thing of, so letting go is not just an abstract way of
No,
seeing it.
you can create a ritual around it.
Yeah, and clearing out. It's coming into
Yeah.
spring cleaning. It's a perfect time for purging.
Well, that was why, yeah, I thought my digging the ditches would be, let's clean out that jacuzzi. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. I realized it needs to go. That needs to go.
So let's clear it entirely. That's a big job for
Yeah.
this week. Ooh. Oh, well. Well, thank you so much for your chat.
Thank you.
So,
Have a great week. Do you have
yes,
intentions
and
for this week?
continue to play the game of life in all its
Yeah.
glory.
I think I'll be listening to that again and just seeing what else I can pull from it.
Yeah. It's free because it's an old book. So, yeah, you can get it on audio. You can get it on podcasts. It's anywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
considering re-recording it myself for my
Ooh,
Substack, just to
nice.
practice. But anyway, sending
Very
lots
good.
of love to you all. Thanks for listening,
Okay.
and we'll speak next week.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.